Hey guys, how's it going? This is Holy Hand Grenade, and this is part 1 of my in-depth tutorial on how to fly, maneuver, and own the skies with jets in Battlefield 3. The inspiration from this tutorial came from the comments I was getting on my 12-0 jet gameplay I posted a few days ago. If you have yet to watch that video, you guys can always click the annotation on the screen, or check the description for the link. You guys had a lot of questions for me, so I'll be covering different aspects of flight throughout several videos. In this first part, I will be covering movement from basic flight to defensive and offensive maneuvers. Now, the jets playable in Battlefield 3 are all 4th generation fighter planes which have seen combat from the early 1970s till the present. These 4th generation fighters lean towards multi-role configuration and were equipped with increasingly sophisticated avionics and weapon systems. These jets minimized drag and increased the thrust-to-weight ratio. Being a part of the 4th generation of fighter jets meant more speed, faster movement, and bigger firepower. This amazing speed and gravity-crushing movement is what most novice pilots find difficult to overcome in Battlefield 3. The first and most important thing to basic flight is that you should avoid flying straight at any cost. The act of flying straight opens up your plane for easier target acquisition from the ground and air by your enemies. Only when chasing an enemy plane or as a last-ditch effort should you fly straight on. The jets in Battlefield 3 have very simple control setups. The left joystick controls the rudder and vertical stabilizers of the jet. These mechanisms, when pushed to the left or right, will cause your plane to turn a small amount. The left joystick is primarily used for minute adjustments to your flight path, as well as helping guide your aim while in cockpit view. The right joystick, on the other hand, controls vertical movement. When pushed up or down, your plane will dip or raise in the air. The right joystick is your primary means of movement in all directions. Going back to movement, combining both the left and right joysticks simultaneously will allow for agile and precise movement. To avoid flying straight, the best method of movement is to bank left or right using the right joystick, then pulling back again on the right joystick. This flight pattern allows you to evade and turn at a high speed. The addition of the left joystick while in a bank will add some vertical movement to the maneuver. In addition, afterburners should be turned off during a bank. The increase in speed actually makes your plane take a longer time to turn. The afterburner should only be turned on while outside of a bank. The best way to practice these maneuvers is to fly in a straight path and hit your right joystick just a tad so as to send your plane turning 45 degrees. Repeat this 4 times until your plane is back to the normal angle. Once you've mastered the roll, repeat them but with the addition of the back pull on the right joystick. Repeating these movements will acclimatize you to the many movements of the jet. Once you are more comfortable with the rolling, try and go from the face-up position to a face-down position in one movement and see if you can time it nicely enough to remain even throughout the entire maneuver. I know most of this is easier said than done for most people, but trust me, practice will make perfect, and in no time you will be doing barrel rolls through the sky. Now for offensive movement while in a jet. The first key thing you need to do when looking for an enemy target is to switch to third-person view. Third-person view can be turned on by clicking the right joystick. Keep in mind, third-person mode is disabled in hardcore game modes. Third-person view allows for a wider field of view, making it that much easier to spot an enemy plane. Once an enemy plane has been spotted, you should move into an offensive position behind the enemy target. The first thing you need to do is to slow down and try to align the nose of your plane with their tail. Once you have them straight in your sights and you are going the same direction as them, you should switch into cockpit view. At this point, you should be speeding up to try and get as close as possible to them, but not so close as to sacrifice your shot on them. As long as you can mirror their movements, you are golden and one step closer to getting a kill. I will go more in depth on how to get a kill with a jet in part 2 of this tutorial. For defensive movements, I recommend sticking to cockpit view. This view allows for precise movements and a clear view of your immediate path. If you are being chased by an enemy plane, the best thing to do is to try and get behind them or as close enough to them as to know their shot. The method I use to accomplish this is to roll my plane over so that the cockpit is facing the ground. After that, I pull down on the joystick so my plane shoots up into the sky. Be sure to keep your plane in a vertical path while doing this. After about 200 feet, re-roll your plane to its normal angle and proceed with your flying. Sharp banks and nose dives are also effective ways of removing planes and anti-air troops from your tail. If these methods fail, always be sure to time your flares as best as possible. If the lock light is on, wait for a few seconds before using your flares. This should help if your enemy decides to shoot both missiles or vary the times between them. That concludes the movement portion of the jet flying tutorial. In the next section, I will cover dogfighting, ground attacking, and many more offensive actions you can do while in a jet. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and I will be sure to answer them in the third and final part of this tutorial. Until then, I'm Holy Hand Grenade, and see ya!